Are we actually recording?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So hey, it's D&D time and stuff, and I definitely remember what episode we're on because I'm good at that kind of thing. I say episode like we're actually recording this for people. Anyway,
Just Wendy.
yeah, really, just Wendy. Um, but yeah, so it's been not that long, but people still forget what happened, so I guess we should jump into a recap. Um,
It's funny
let's
because
see.
it's true.
Yeah. So let's see. You guys are like best friends with this guy named Shago, and yeah, I mean that catches us up, right? Um.
Our DM sits on a throne of lies.
So yeah, half the party tried to murder Shago is probably a technically more accurate way of putting that thing that I said before. Um, but they were stopped, and now Shago is basically blackmailing you through this weird half the party wants to save him, half the party wants to kill him dynamic, where he's somehow able to stay alive thus far. But yeah, so he's dragging you guys back to Port Nyanzaru to basically atone for those of you who attempted to
Ugh.
yeah, assassinate him. He almost died because he rolled a 3 on a perception check and literally walked off a cliff. But as has been the recurring theme in these last few episodes, he was saved by the wonderful blue savior that has somehow kept him alive thus far. And yeah, so I think that was kind of the biggest thing that happened last session. You guys made it eventually all the way back to port. And it is basically right as you were arriving that we kind of pick things up. So, was there any stuff that you guys think you would have been like discussing on the way? Any stuff that you wanted to get out of the way before we actually got into the city?
I'm just insulting Shago, but passive aggressively.
Naturally. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. Probably like an awkward notably more silent walk back to port than say right after you guys left the fort where you picked him up and he couldn't stop bragging about how awesome he was. But yeah, so you guys make it back to Port Nyanzaru. And as you walk in the gates of the city, you see the typical midday foot traffic around town. Lots of vendors with their stalls set up, and a few pack dinosaurs roaming the streets. Yeah, and then let's see. I need to make a check for a thing. Cool. All right. So yeah, you guys make it to I don't know, like the internal part of the city, and Shago says to you all that he has some business to attend to, but he has connections throughout the city, and they will be made aware of what you all look like. And should you try to leave before you kind of do your penance, there will be repercussions.
Is that a threat?
Maybe a little bit.
It's funny because it's obviously a threat,
And
and I hate him. And if it weren't for some good aligned character, we wouldn't have to deal with his threats.
I'm just like, well, we
do have things to do, so that are important. And the oven is beeping.
I know, Becca. I can feel when my taquito.
Anyway, yeah. So he says, "It won't be long. I just need to arrange for a meeting with well, the merchant prince in charge of all this, Jessamine. You should hear from me by tomorrow."
Okay.
All right. So with that, he heads off toward the district that you know by now is home to most, if not all, of the merchant princes, which could make for an awkward conversation if Coyote's out getting her mail. But maybe we leave that for another day. So now that you guys are back in town, with at least a day that you're going to be kind of stuck here, is there anything that you guys wanted to get done, check out, whatever, while you're here?
So, Fib is feeling kind of down at the not assassinating anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so, she thinks a great way to solve it would be to take care of her other guy trying to kill. The, Grappos.
the guy that you already damn near killed.
Yeah, but she thinks it'll make her feel better, so she's gonna find him.
Okay. So yeah, basically what you're saying then is you want to see if that band he was with, the Thundercats, definitely not those Thundercats, are still somewhere in town and playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Make an investigation check. 16. Okay. So a little bit of asking around, I mean, you're at least kind of somewhat familiar to the people around the Thundering Lizard at this point, and so, check in with them, see if that band is coming back through, or if anybody knows what they might be up to right about now. And I think maybe you're like asking the barkeep or something, but one of the like the house, for lack of a better term, tech people. I don't know how much tech you really have when it's like fire, but one of the stage hands that they have on staff at the Thundering Lizard mentions that a lot of them are local to Port Nyanzaru. And yeah, so let's see. Trying to think of how. So, I mean, obviously, you steer the conversation toward Grappos a little bit, yeah? Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh-huh. So, all right. I think, like, he probably doesn't know Grappos on the I know where he lives level, but he's pretty sure that he lives in the city somewhere.
When's he going to work next?
Well, the band is set to play the Lizard, like, end of this week.
Oh.
But, yeah, I know.
How far away is, like, where the houses are?
I mean, realistically, you could walk to just about any point in Port Nyanzaru within, I would say, like, half an hour or so.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's not sprawling, but it's very tightly packed.
Hmm.
It's a condensed sort of settlement here.
Well, she doesn't feel like finding him. This was just gonna be a fun, easy thing. Not She's not gonna go and look through the neighborhoods.
Okay.
She just starts spreading rumors about him at the Thundering Lizard.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Hmm.
I like where this is going. Go ahead and make I mean, you don't care if they're true or not, so they're probably not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and make a deception check.
Okay.
Oh god.
Oh man, it's even better if he loses his job than if he just dies. Because I hope his job's all he cares about.
Okay, so with a natural 20, I mean, what rumor are you planting about Grappos?
Okay, well, first of all, he poops his pants all the time. Uh, just like every time you see him leave the band area, is because he's pooping his pants.
All right.
Does he have any family?
No, Grappos is a sad, lonely old man.
Oh, psh. Well, his wife left him because he poops his pants all the time,
Okay.
and he took their kid with her.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, it's believable, you know, like he's a gnome of a certain age, and you know, like faculties start to go, right? So yeah, maybe that's a thing that people start believing all around Port Nyanzaru. He's now the town pants shitter. That's great.
See, I only went with embarrassing, but I could have gone with horrible, so he should be grateful, actually. I could have made some really bad rumors about him.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, the rest of you probably start hearing the murmurings of the latest entertainment weekly news to break in Port Nyanzaru about a top tour manager on the local music scene. But beyond that, what else would you guys want to get into while you're here?
I want to locate the guy that I said I would talk to and try to help. I don't remember.
Oh,
his
okay.
name.
Yeah. The
Omar?
dye merchant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So,
I'm gonna
I mean, give it-
disguise myself to look just like a normal person before I go out.
okay. Yeah. So, given that you know his name, you know, his profession and all that, and I think he actually told you where you could find it. That's easy enough. You know, you take the like 10-15 minutes to walk over, and yeah. So, what do you want to look like?
Just normal, basically your average Port Nyanzaru like citizen.
Okay. Okay. So just looking like everyday Chilton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So you head over there, and it's still daytime. So yeah, you probably stop by like as he's in the process of like finishing up with one customer, kind of giving them their new goods. Excuse me for 1 second. Definitely not dying. Okay. So, yeah. He's just finished up handing somebody like their freshly dyed cloak, and as they're finishing up, he kind of turns and says, "Hello. I don't think I recognize you. Are you a first-time customer?"
Now, is this a stall or is this like inside of a building?
I would say it's inside of a building. Yeah.
And is it just me and him?
At least in the immediate vicinity, yeah. Like you gather that there are people kind of back behind the counter, working as he's kind of dealing with customers.
All right, I will message him and say, "It's me, Lucian. There's issues, or Lucius. Fuck, God, all this Lucian talk is got me fucking calling myself Lucius now. It's me, Lucius. Bad things happened. You may need to run.
Bad things? What kind of bad things?
Was that his response?
Yeah.
I'll say, well, she's not too happy with myself either. And this is all message. She hired me to kill somebody, turned out to be somebody important, and she's probably going to be punished. But you may want to get out of Dodge for a little bit.
He looks confused, and he just responds back and says, "All right. Well, thanks for the warning." And you see him like look around at his business, like, "What the fuck am I gonna do?" Okay.
And then after that, what do they like? What does a dye shop do? Can I buy something there, or like?
So let's see. I mean, there's actually like an entry for this place. So give me 1 second, and I can give you specifics, I think. Do. Here we go. All right. So yeah. So basically, this is a place where you'd be able to get custom-made clothing, or get basically anything that you already have dyed to the best of their ability, which seems to be pretty good. I mean, you saw the cloak going out the door, and it looked quite nice and very like distinctly Chilton. You know, it's got that kind of rainbow palette that you've seen around, even from the everyday clothes of the Chiltons about to the feathers of the parrots that you know that they have here in Port Nyanzaru, pretty much instead of seagulls. But yeah, it's kind of like a distinctly local kind of deal.
Is
And
it like Joseph's coat?
sure, it's amazing, and it's Technicolor. Yeah.
All right. Well, after warning him, I guess I'll just probably leave.
Goth kid walks in. He's like, "Fuck this." Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. So, yeah, okay. So you do that, and you turn around and head out.
I will, on my way back, stop and grab 2 flagon, or is it flagons? Just basically 2 big mugs of oh, what the fuck was that shit? That
Tej.
yes,
Okay.
because that's what Goromod and I had, right?
Yes.
Probably.
Pretty sure. Okay, so I'll grab 2 mugs of that, and I will bring it back. And I will, once I get back, I will give it to Goromod, and I'm gonna same thing. I'm gonna make it taste like what was it, lizard tails?
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, I'll make it taste like the best lizard tails, and I'll say I got it from that one shop.
I'm gonna go earn the money for Lucius the honest way.
I'm gonna go with.
You're earning money for Lucius?
He keeps complaining about not having money, and if it keeps him out of doing evil things.
If what it takes for you to not do a murder is for me to give you money, I guess. He's like a reverse assassin now.
However,
paid
he
to
not
not
murder
kill people.
money on Tej. So
Huh? What was that?
he keeps spending money on you keep spending money on Tej. You're like, I need money. Spends money.
Well,
like
the
a
Tej
homeless
was
person.
the Tej is inexpensive though. Like it's not super crazy.
Okay, so yeah, and by the way, for the Tej, we'll say like a silver for the two.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, okay. So I mean, it's kind of becoming systematic at this point. Like Cyrenny and Thorv, you said you wanted to go too.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you head to the temple and meet your now kind of old friend. I mean, definitely old, but friend for a while now. Grandfather Zatembe, who is happy to see you and certainly has plenty of texts for you guys to kind of delve into and work your way through. So you kind of want to spend the rest of the day, quote unquote, so kind of like half a day's work, just doing that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. So yeah, I mean, we'll say, you could probably make. Let's round it up to 3 gold for like, that time. That's actually not too bad. It's very specialized work after all. Yeah. So let's see what else. Is there anything Groyomod wants to do besides drinking the Tej that was presented to him?
Not really. Gromod's just still kind of in awe of the city and distracted by all the things.
All right. Cool. So yeah, maybe then as Lucius and Groyomod are, sitting down somewhere enjoying their beverages, somebody walks by. Like I'm kind of picturing you guys at a table at the Lizard or something. Somebody walks by and just drops a folded piece of paper on the table in front of Lucius. Keeps walking.
I'll wait for them to walk away.
Okay.
And then I will kind of slowly reach my hand up and open it up.
All right. And I will assume that basically you ran your disguise until it ran out. I mean, would you
Yeah.
want to recast it or?
Not. Well, how long did he say he was going to be gone?
Shago?
Yeah,
He said that you guys would hear from him like sometime tomorrow.
tomorrow. So yeah, I'd have run it 3 times. Or how many do I have? I'd have run it till my spells were out. Yeah, 3 times.
Okay.
More.
So yeah, I mean, you at this point you could still, like, most certainly be disguised, but that
Okay.
doesn't change the fact that you get a note delivered to you.
That's fine.
And so yeah, you take this note, and yeah, inside it says, I've heard concerning reports. I think we need to meet sooner rather than later. You know where I live. That's it.
Alright. I will look to Rowan and I'll say, well... Actually, in fact, I'll message Garland and I'll say, well, looks like I have to go back to the mean lady's house.
Which one?
Message again. The one that asked me to kill the annoying guy.
Oh, that one. I forget. There's so many mean people here.
I'll just kind of nod. Where is wherever Cyrenny and the fuck is your name? Thorv? Yes. Cyrenny and Thorv are.
Okay, let's see here.
Like, I guess in relation to where the house is that I gotta go.
Right. Well, let's see here. So I think. Let me make sure I have the right one here. Okay. So basically, the temple that Cyreне and Thorv are at is inside one half of the Merchant Prince residential district. Quayothe lives in the other half, but it's still pretty close.
Oh. Alright, well, I'll take the long way and I'm gonna stop and see them first.
Okay. All right, so you head over to the Temple of Savras, which is where they've been posted up, and you walk in, you see. I'm trying to remember, have you been to this place before?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's certainly a different sight to behold from the Temple of Joaquin, which is the one that you kind of frequent. This is a much more kind of reserved temple in its, I guess, lack of gold-plated everything. But still very much a welcoming area. There's like shoots of sunlight kind of pouring in through various windows affixed to the ceiling. And there's just kind of a few hushed conversations going on between different clergy members and the apparent Savras faithful here. But yeah, so you make your entrance, and it seems like you want to talk to your two friends.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's easy enough to ask around and get shown back to the little kind of like side chamber that they are working away in. And so yeah, as the two of you are translating, you have a guest.
Without saying anything, I'm just gonna hold the note out to Cyrene, and once she takes it, I'll say, well, what should I do?
I'm gonna take the note, read it, and just be like, well, if she's gonna be indicted, if we're gonna hear back tomorrow, don't go until we hear back.
Well,
Silence.
tonight's gonna be an interesting night then. Because if I don't go, she's gonna send people to get me.
She can try.
Alright.
This is why you shouldn't have messed with her in the first place.
A fair point. I think I'll stay here with you guys and just walk back with you guys.
That will probably be for the best.
So I will stay and aid them in whatever way I can.
Okay.
Do you speak any languages me and Thorv don't speak?
Infernal, Abyssal, and Primordial.
I don't speak Infernal. So I guess if they have any scripts in Infernal.
Okay, I mean, I'll say we can get like, a quarter day's work in, and
That's
Lucius can make an honest gold for once. Actually, an honest, we'll say, 1 gold, 5 silver.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, Grandfather Zatembe is kind of like visibly leery of Lucius, but at the same time, you know, he knows Cyrenny, he knows Thorv, and you guys have been nothing but helpful in your interactions with him. So, yeah,
You
cool.
know, actually, while I'm here, can I approach Father Zatembe?
Grandfather Zatembe, yeah.
Yeah, I will approach Grandfather Zatembe and I'll say, do you happen to have any magical, arcane books that you need help with? I'm fairly skilled in the arcane as well.
He says, well, there are a great number of books that we have that I frankly don't know how to make heads or tails of, so there may well be some.
That would be perfect. Is it that you just can't decipher them or can't read them, or?
That's correct, as one of the less funded branches of the Temple of Savras, we tend to be the last ones to get any significant translating help, so...
Show me those. It will take me a little longer, but I can translate anything that you cannot read. I can also tell you if anything is magical or not.
Okay, yeah, he's certainly interested. So yeah, he brings you to like another area of the temple where there's just kind of a mess of different texts, books, scrolls, what have you, kind of just stashed away in this like basically back closet of the temple. And so, yeah, I mean, what's your order of operations here? So, like, you just see this big pile of stuff. Yeah, how do you tackle it?
Well, you said there's scrolls and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Any fairly decent sized books?
Yeah, I think there are probably a number of those. I mean, they kind of run the gamut. You got a little bit of everything.
All right. Do I recognize any with any of the languages I speak, or is it still completely?
I mean, yeah, there are definitely some that you just understand because you know the languages, like not having to cast any spells or anything. Probably mostly the non-common stuff that you speak, obviously.
Yeah.
Like the rarer the language, like an infernal probably goes a long way. Yeah, those three. Infernal, Abyssal, Primordial, you're good.
Yeah. Do I see any that I don't understand?
Yeah, probably. Some of them are like really beat up, old-looking texts. But yeah, and again, kind of bits and pieces of everything.
Any very clean, overtly clean looking scrolls?
Oh, you mean like scrolls that look like they might have some element of something that prevents them from taking significant bits of damage?
Yeah.
Make a perception check.
Perception.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you do notice there's like you can see like the end of one scroll sort of sticking out the pile of scrolls that have been kind of amassed in one side of this tiny room. Does seem quite well preserved by some means.
Alright, I'll pull it out, and I'll grab like one more scroll, just kind of at random, and set it in a pile, and I'll say, all right, well, I can take care of this if you would like.
All right. So yeah, I mean, you want to specifically try and figure out what's going on with that scroll?
Well, yeah, I mean, if he walks me back, the first thing I'm gonna do when I get in is I have one let's see. I have 1 second level spell. I will burn it to do an identify,
Okay.
and I'm going to see what is on this scroll.
All right. So yeah, let's see here. Um. Let's figure out what we're gonna make it. All right. So you take some time and look into this item, and it looks as though you have just found a spell of we'll say it's a spell of Ice Storm.
Ooh. All right. So, am I in the same room as them then?
Yeah, we'll say that you kind of, took your pick of things that you felt you'd be able to, somehow figure out. And yeah, you're kind of at this big, long table, takes up most of the study space.
So you two would see my eyes light up after I cast Identify on this, and I'm like, I need this. This would help us immensely. And this was sitting in a back room. What do these guys do here? Just collect information?
See what happens if you actually try to do something, more honest, good.
Well, yeah, but I kind of want this thing. But I can't do anything with it yet. It's a little beyond my means.
Well, let's talk to grandfather.
All right. Should I be honest and tell him what it is?
Yeah.
It's usually best.
Okay. I mean, I'm new at this.
She was literally just like, "This is what happens when you're honest."
So, I guess I'm gonna search out grandfather and be like, hey, Lucius said, Lucian? Is it
Lucius.
Lucius.
Okay.
Now everybody's confused about his
Yeah.
name.
You had, like, a bunch of scrolls and magical books in the back room? What are you planning on doing with those?
He says, I honestly had no idea what it was we had on our hands, but you say it's magical?
I mean, it's a spell. I was wondering if maybe we could buy some off of you.
He kind of looks down and looks at the selection of scrolls and says, oh, you'll have to forgive me. I'm not current on prices for these things these days. What sort of spell did you find?
I think Lucius can better explain it. I didn't read through all of it. It's an ice storm type spell. We make our way back towards the study room.
So I guess when he gets there, I'll say, yeah, this is a scroll of Ice Storm. This is quite powerful magic. But it basically creates a big radius of ice and causes damage to anybody in it. Like, this is some crazy stuff. I've heard of it, but way beyond me still. But I can, with time, learn how to do something like this.
Sounds pretty dangerous. Um, to be
Yeah,
honest,
that's, I mean, I guess why we're interested. We're gonna be spending our time in the jungle, so
Yeah, it's dangerous in the wrong hands, but
yeah, and so he looks specifically at Sirenny and says, uh, "We haven't spoken too much about your plans out in the jungle, but I assume it's got something to do with the death curse. Yes?
yeah, we're following up on some actual. We have leads on how, well, I guess where it's from and how to get rid of it. So
He nods and says, "I've spoken with a great number of people affected by the curse, and I've seen the suffering it's caused, the universal pain of losing those that we thought we had, well, those that we thought we'd be able to spend a bit more time with." And he says, "I'm afraid I won't be able to give it to you for free, but I'm sure I could speak to the others in the temple and arrange for, well, certainly an unheard of price, as merchants would go, but I believe in, well, anyone who's willing to put themselves on the line to bring an end to this curse, and I want to help you. You've helped me a great deal in this little way, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. And, well, I want to help you. Let me go confer with a few of the other elders, and I'll see what I can do for you."
well, thank you. Thank you so much.
He nods and lets himself out of the room for a little bit. Yeah. Do you guys want to have any conversation while he's gone, or should we skip ahead?
Just smile at Lucius.
I just
Back to
kind
work.
of, I kind of just sheepishly look at Sirenny for a second, and then I glance down and get right back to work to translating.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So a little while goes by, and eventually, Grandfather Zatembe comes back, and he says, "Well, those with a little more experience in the arcane, they tell me that a scroll of this nature would usually go for somewhere between, well, in a store, something like 1,000 to 2,500 gold." He says, "If memory serves, this was part of a longtime believer's estate before he, well, before he passed, and this was his last contribution to the temple, obviously, and it means a great deal. But how about this? Consider this," and he takes the scroll and holds it out to you guys. "An advance for," he does the quick math. Basically, what he's asking is a total of 40 days of translating. Now, it doesn't have to be all at once. It doesn't have to be one person. So, like, if 2 people come in, that's 2 days. But it's an advance payment for work to be done in service to the temple.
What if they die?
I will say, if you give me time, I can probably recreate this scroll for you, so that you will have another one. So
That is certainly intriguing.
But unfortunately, as I've said, it is a bit beyond my means right now. But
yeah, that sounds perfect.
yeah, I would definitely be willing. And if you would like, I can do if I get a little bit of rest and come back next time. I can peruse that closet a little bit more and tell you if there's anything else magical.
All right. Well, yeah. He nods and says that would be greatly appreciated, and if there's anything that would prove useful to your task, I'm sure we can negotiate.
Or at the very least, you'll know what you've got, rather than have some holy grail magical item sitting, sitting in the closet. But yes, of course.
All right. Cool. So yeah, the rest of the day spent translating and all that good stuff. And yeah, so come nighttime, drunken shenanigans, setting up a fort. I don't know. What's your plan?
What? Setting up a
Um,
fort?
I mean, people sounded pretty paranoid about what could be coming tonight. So
Yeah, How many rooms
could-
did we have?
as many as you would like to run out.
We don't have a lot of gold, just remember that.
I say we should just all stay in one room tonight,
You
just
remembered perfectly.
for safety.
Fib is okay with that.
I am fine with that.
That'll work.
So, okay.
Sadie
Anybody
is
seen-
very concerned.
Has anybody seen Scorn today? Is he hanging out at his tree, or did he come into the city with us?
He said something about hating everybody and just kind of wandered
yes.
off towards his tree.
Oh, okay.
So I
Oh.
didn't think to ask.
I guess we'll meet him later.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we should take a quick break here because Sadie is apparently dying or something. But yeah, so I don't know.
I just want to spend part of the night reading Lucius's book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, reading Volos.
I'm reading over her shoulder.
I'm basically explaining everything that Fib is looking at to Fib as Cyrne's reading it.
Yep, I want to read it too.
Fib is relieved because she wanted to know, but she does not like to ask for help.
Yeah, so I'm basically anybody who wants to know what's in it, as Cyrne's reading and they're looking at the pictures, I'm explaining everything about each thing.
And I'm
Story
just
time with
letting
Volo.
Everyone read over my shoulder.
Basically, I don't even have to read over your shoulder. I've got it almost memorized just from reading it. So
I show everyone pictures over my shoulder.
there you go.
All right, cool. All right, well, 5-minute break. We'll let Sadie out so she doesn't die or whatever, and then we'll see if you guys get murdered in the night.
Okay.